Namaskar. There is a very interesting short poem, a verse in Sanskrit. In ancient times, there was no writing, so the sages, they would pass on the knowledge in the form of poetry, because it is easy to forget different facts, but the poetry and the rhythm is not easily forgotten. So using that phenomena of human mind, the sages would compose a very beautiful and significant poems. So one I want to share with you, and it has been inspiring me a lot. In this poetry it says, actually the sage explains the way how to get into the spiritual experience. We are aware of our physical experience. You look in the mirror and you become aware that you have the body, and that body is young, old, beautiful, or it is sick, it is healthy, etc., etc. We are hungry, we feel pain and pleasure. We are very much aware of our physical existence. We are also aware that I have personality. I have my intellectuality, I have intuitional capabilities, have emotions, and I have history. I have different experiences. That is my personality. But also, I have spirit, and many times we hear, I have soul, my soul. But who does have that awareness? Who does have that spiritual awareness? How's about spiritual experiences? How is about experiencing the spiritual realm? So in this little poem, the sage is saying that how we can see the spirit. Телешу талам дадхинива сарпирапа, шота сваранишу чагни, эва матматмани, грехяте сау, сатене нам тапасу, джону пашяте. Телешу тайлам дадхинива сарпирапа. Just like in a sesame seed there is oil, just like in a milk there is butter, just like in a dry firewood there is a fire in a potential form, just like in a riverbed, if you dig, there is water. So, in the human being, there is soul, and you will be able to see that soul spirit through the application of Satya and Tapah. It's very, very interesting angle to look on spiritual path. And this is the most important actually. What is Satya? Satya means truthfulness. Sat is something which is not changing. Then what is not changing? Let's say this leaf. Is it true that I hold this leaf? For the moment, it is true. For this particular moment. But I know that after some time this leaf will decay and will disappear. So a yogi has to be more deep. He has to be more truthful. And he has to see that this leaf actually consists of sun, consists of earth, consists of air. Everything of that has been combined in that leaf. There are carbon atoms, there are molecules, and if you look still deeper, you will find that there are electrons, there are quarks and different particles. And if you look still deeper, you will find that actually nothing is there. There is a space-time vibrating as the field. And if you look still deeper, you will find that it is an expression of the cosmic mind. It is a thought wave in the cosmic mind. And if you still look deeper, you will find that the cosmic mind is also an expression of the cosmic consciousness. So that is the yoga philosophy. It states that everything in this world, everything in this universe is the expression of infinite cosmic consciousness. Everything of what we see is actually a wave that we perceive. And yoga wants to know the ultimate truth. What is beyond the appearances? What is beyond the wave? So Satya means pursuing that ultimate truth. For that the mind has to be truthful. For that the mind has to be attuned with the truthfulness and not attuned with the falsehood. I want to believe in something. I see the leaf. it is simple to believe that it is a leaf. But if I look deeper, I will find that it is consciousness. I see a person, and that person appears to me unintelligent, weak, etc. But if I will see deeper, I will see the consciousness, I will see the infinite possibilities, infinite capabilities in that person, and I will believe in that person, not as a limited body, not as a limited mind, but I will believe in that person as in infinite spirit. So that is called application of Satya. And Satya, Sat means something which is unchanging. So we are looking for that which is unchanging. The body will change, the mind will change. When I was young, when I was small, I was a little boy. Now I'm a bigger, physically, I have become 40 years old man. And my mind is also changing, but there is something which is not changing. My I feeling is sort of unchanging, but there is a deeper, behind that I, there is consciousness, the witnessing entity. So Satya is that pursuit, searching for the infinite truth within ourselves and outside ourselves. Satya, in the beginning, is to be truthful, just to be truthful. Like, I give you example. When I started to meditate, I thought, wow, I'm actually almost perfect. I mean, I'm a good man. And then what do I have to achieve? Then I started to meditate, and it is a process of introspection. You come to know yourself, you come to know your mind. And then, of course, if you look inside, you start to notice so many imperfections, so many loopholes in your personality, so many limitations to your body and mind. And then there is another stage, you feel, oh, with that amount of limitations in the physical sphere and in the psychic sphere, I will never be able to achieve perfection. But then you have to understand that Satya is not only truthfulness, it is also a benevolence. The supreme entity, the supreme consciousness is benevolence personified. It is infinite love. So, when we look at things, we have to believe in the greater potential. That is the expression of that benevolence. Not to see the temporary form which will change anyway, anytime, but to see that great potential in others and in ourselves. And this is very, very important portion of our life, and it is very important portion of love also. Not to see the not to give the final definition of the person, of who he is now, but see greater thing, greater consciousness in that person. So that is called Satya. Satya, the pursuit of truthfulness. Not to be in self-deception, not to deceive others, not to lie, because if you do that, the mind gets accustomed to falsehood, and that the mind will perceive everything according to its nature. If the mind is trained in falsehood, it will see everywhere. It will be itself deceived all the time. But if you are truthful, it is very difficult. You become very observant, and you become very penetrating. The person is trying to be hypocritical, but you see through that. You are very, very penetrating, and all different secrets of human psychology, all different secrets of nature are revealed before you. So that is important. To be genius scientist, you have to also be truthful. To be genius musician, you have to also be truthful. To be genius artist, you have to also be truthful, because through that the mind starts to flow parallel to the cosmic mind and receives the secrets of the universe. So that's one thing. And slowly, slowly, in that pursuit, you come to realize who you actually are. You say, am I this body? No, I'm not this body. Am I this mind? No, I'm not this mind. Am I this personality? Those experiences? That history? No. Then who am I? It's very interesting. If you look within yourself, really, if you just observe yourself, if you come closer to yourself, you will find that I'm actually an infinite love. I am not this complex. I am not this inferiority complex. I am not this superiority complex. I am not this fear. I am not this personality. I am not this intelligence. I am not that history. I am the consciousness, and that consciousness is infinite love. So that is the pursuit of truthfulness. So Satya means honesty is one, and secondly it is benevolence. Because cosmic entity, unchanging entity, is nothing but benevolence. So being honest, being blunt, but not benevolent, means you are noticing some defects in others and you are just pointing them out and you are poisonous about that. It does not mean that you are following Satya, because you are not able to reflect, you are not able to grasp the spirit of the nature of the cosmic consciousness. To grasp that, you have to train yourself in benevolence also. And then the second principle is called Tapah. Tapah means actually to undergo some pain, some discomfort, some suffering in order to achieve a goal. Both. One goal can be external in your social expression, and another goal is internal in your sadhana, in your spiritual practice. Actually, if you analyze, you will find that every success is based upon the tapah, upon this readiness to accept pain to achieve the goal. People may look at some businessman and they will see, oh, he is so successful. Some people may be jealous. But if they analyze the history of their success, they will see so much pain, so much discomfort, so much sacrifice have been done to achieve that status. So every success, and in spiritual realm especially, there are three realms. Physical realm, there is a success in the mundane sphere, then there is a psychic realm, there is a success in the intellectual, psychic sphere, and there is also a spiritual success. And especially for the spiritual success, that readiness to sacrifice for achieving the goal has to be there. Normally, people feel that, let me build comfortable life, and then live there beautifully, smilingly, peacefully. That is a kind of dream of the stagnant life. I am striving, I am struggling, but achieving that which I wanted, I have achieved my limited goal, and then I stopped. But when you stop, then immediately you start to go down. Because if you don't go up, you go down. This is the law of nature. There is nothing in between. So it is always seen when people, the genius, artists, the genius performance, they achieve affluence in their life, they achieve fame and name, they are at the top of the society, and they feel, okay, now I have achieved everything. Then nothing to achieve more. At that stage, the degeneration starts. At that stage, the depression starts. At that stage, the psychic, the spiritual degeneration starts. So we should not dream of that state where we will finish the struggle. We should not mentally retire. We should accept that spirituality, that the vibrant life, that the spirituality means that you will have to always move upwards, and moving upwards means discomfort. Like I have my friend, he's a very inspiring person, and he's a great tapasvi, means he's great in this sacrificing spirit. He was telling me, I just completed a big project. That project drained all my resources. It required all my intelligence. It required my everything actually. I had spent so many sleepless nights and so many working hours to achieve that. But that was very good for the people. It has provided very necessary facilities for the people in the villages there in India. So he has completed that, and he thought that maybe next year I should not do this big accomplishment. I should not try to. I just do my regular work and I meditate and I enjoy life. But then the thought came, no, this is going to be egoistic and this is not inspiring. So let me accept another challenge in life. So Tapah means this: accept the challenge in the spiritual sphere. Always try to become better. Spirituality requires so many rules, so many practices. So in the beginning I can do meditation for 5 minutes twice a day. It is Tapah. You are doing something unusual, something which you are not habituated to do. And even 5 minutes sitting still requires some self-control and requires some effort. But then you get accustomed to it, and there is no effort in that. So then you have to accept something bigger. You meditate twice a day, 20 minutes each time. Okay, you're accustomed to that, then you do asanas. Okay, you're accustomed to that, you do kirtan, you do asanas, you do half bath, you do all the practices which are prescribed in the spiritual path. That is the spiritual effort. And in your meditation also, it's not like you close the eyes and you do very relaxed way. You do an effort. You try to move yourself from the point of A into the point of B. You are trying to move yourself upward, and that requires an effort, a special effort. Renounce all the thoughts and go into the really concentrated state. So that is all Tapah. So the sage is saying, you will see the truth, you will see the spirit, you will see the consciousness. The spirit is infinite. It is our inner infinite existence. If you apply the Satya and Tapah in life. Be truthful and be sacrificing. Through that sacrifice, one more thing I want to tell. I personally experience this Tapah as a joy. There was time also when I completed a project and the life became comfortable. And I felt something is wrong. Everything is so nice. Everything is so comfortable. But I don't feel that great inspiration when I was really trying and I was really striving and giving my all, my everything. So then I understood that I must accept some bigger challenge. And it is only about the fear. Actually, the universe is infinite. Our consciousness is infinite. The consciousness has infinite thirst. Consciousness has infinite faculties, infinite capabilities. But we impose on ourselves artificial boundaries, and we live in those boundaries. So accepting the greater challenges pushes those boundaries, expand our consciousness. And when our consciousness expands, then we truly feel happy. So that joy, that happiness that one experiences during the Tapah is something very special. So it is about adopting the lifestyle where the challenge is constant, where the effort to become better is constant. That is the spiritual path, and that gives you joy, that gives you light, that gives you effulgence. So we should listen to the words of the ancient sage. Thank you very much. I will be very happy if you are going to write something about what you have just seen and maybe reflect upon your own life, and maybe you can narrate some incident from your life there where you really felt inspiration through the application of these two, Satya and Tapah. Thank you. Namaskar.